knows, but this meeting is being recorded, so you're live on the air. You are here at a Power Rising summer event. Just a few quick housekeeping notes. We are gonna stay on mute for some portion of this. I guess while I'm actively talking, if you could leave your microphone muted, that would be great. There will be 3 breakout rooms, so you'll have plenty of time to talk. You can use the Q&A box for questions. The chat is moving kind of fast. Sometimes it's hard for me to see. So if you do have questions, go ahead and drop them in the Q&A box. The chat is moderated. We've never had to kick anyone out of the Zoom before, but just to let you know, if you spam the chat, we will send you a warning and then we'll warn you publicly, and then you will get removed from the Zoom. Another thing, this is the first time I'll say it, but it won't be the last. We are recording this call. We're going to email it to you afterwards and any resources you want. So we'll give you a feedback survey. You can tell us what you want in the recording or in the email, and we'll email that to you. In addition, we appreciate and need your feedback. It helps us continuously improve, and we exist to serve you. So please tell us if there's something that you want from us, and we will do our best to make it happen. We read every single response to the feedback surveys, and if you have been to an arena training before, you know that to be true. Okay. Let me tell you about our sponsors and then our partners. We are fortunate to be supported by our generous sponsors who provide financial support to us. We've got Google, Grassroots Analytics, Ripple, which is that ROI logo, Running Mate, which is a product of Civitech, and Winnable. We're always looking for additional sponsors. So if you want to get in on this slide, let us know. We'll be happy to bring you in. Oh my God, Jose is here too. This is an action-packed crew. Okay, and Power Rising Summer is an arena project in collaboration with so many partners. These are our partners. We'll tell you a little bit more about each of them at the end. We're happy to connect you with them, and we'll have a poll at the end where you can let us know who you'd like to be connected with. So stay tuned for more. If you're at an organization and you want to partner, if you want to get in on this slide, let us know, and we will put you in our partnership pipeline and evaluate your fit. All right. Yeah, where is the Bernie crew? Here we go. Finding yourself in the movement. This is the workshop you have been waiting for. Dun, 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 dun. So first, we're going to tell you about Arena. I'm Jess Weldon. I am a dog enthusiast, and I am the training director at Arena. I am joined by Myra, who is our chief of staff. Oh my gosh, I knew there was going to be sabotage. Myra, our chief of staff, who is sabotaging this whole entire event. She's obviously a cat person. We've got Santiago, who I don't want to say if he's a dog or a cat person, but I'm pretty confident that he is a dog person. You can correct me if I'm wrong, who is a partner here at Arena. And then I think Deborah might be around here somewhere too. Here at Arena, we offer a whole bunch of services. So you're here at an Arena training. We do also role-specific training for campaign staff, management training, advanced specializations. We also do careers support for campaign staff. We do resume review coaching. We have a grad database. We have a really strong and vibrant community with self-organized groups, virtual coffees. We do convenings. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do with new friends that you meet through Arena. And we also have a toolbox of over 100 free and downloadable tools, which include templates and spreadsheets and videos and more. So that is that on us. We are in our Power Rising Summer series. So we're right here at, we're right here today. I thought it was going to be on there. Next week, we're starting in the future. Next week on Tuesday, we are having a panel about innovations to take back Congress. Then we have a job hunt power hour as part of our career coaching week. So you can come join us for that first week in July. And then we have another workshop, which I will heavily plug, organizing where you live. And the last thing I'll shout out on here is we do have a book club at the end of July. Let This Radicalize You is our first one that we're going to be reading this summer. So if you're into any of that, We'll send you some sign up links in a second. But today, our big questions are, what is my personal why and theory of change? And how do I determine which opportunities for activism and engagement are the right fit for me? We're thinking about our skills, our values, and our theory of change here. So we have a little bit less than an hour and 20 minutes left together. The way that we're going to spend our time is going to be in breakout rooms. So we'll do 3 breakout rooms. I'll do about 5 minutes or 10 minutes of like a little bit of orientation, and then we'll spend about 15 minutes in breakout rooms. So no, you were right. You were right. So we're going to start with what is my why, my vision for the future, and my own personal theory of change, so we can get clear on that. Then we're going to talk about what the preconditions are for effective activism. And then we will kind of end on the ways that we want to be involved in the movement. We have allegedly 15 minutes for wrap up. I don't know that it will take 15 minutes to wrap up. We'll find out when we get there. And then we will tell you some next steps at the end, including connecting you with our partners. So let's get into it. We have a handout for you. You should make your own copy of this. That way you can have and hold it for the rest of however long you want it for. This link should take you to make your own copy. And when you have successfully made a copy of this document, if you can just raise your hand so I can see. And the way you can do that, you can either hold your hand up or you can do a reaction. So raise your hand whenever you've made a copy of this document for yourself. And then I'll know we're ready to go. Sweet. I love the little sound effect. What can I say? I know it's not for everyone, but I'm a fan. Okay, we've got 14 hands up. We've got about 57, 56. Oh, we lost someone. We've got about 56 people in this room. Here's the link again for you. Awesome. Okay. We're getting there. We've got most people having reacted already. That's awesome. If you still need to make a copy, don't worry. We'll drop the link a few more times. We're going to get into it. We're going to start with the first question. So you're going to need to type in your copy. What is your why? Oh no, the link isn't working. Is anybody else having trouble? Drop in the chat. If you're struggling to make a copy, drop in the chat and we can follow up with a different link, maybe one that isn't the make a copy link. Try that. Okay. Myra is on it. Thank you, Myra. All right. So here are the questions. What is my why? What is a why? The why is very simply the underlying reason that you do the work that you do. What are you hoping will be different because of your work? So we have a couple of example whys, but before we get there, some other ways to think about this. You were right. Why do you care? Why are you fighting? Why is it important for you to do something right now? We've already got a few folks dropping their whys in the chat. If you want to, feel free. You'll have an opportunity to copy paste your why again in just a second. Here are some of my example whys. You can have more than one and it can change. Here are some of mine. And these are just examples. I was a teacher. The reason why I even kind of got involved in all of this is because I kept having this thought, we deserve better. When I was in my classroom, my students deserve better. I also think about, right now, my why, very timely and topical. I don't want to live under authoritarianism. This is not something I want for myself or for anyone that I care about. And another one that I often think about is that my students were held accountable for a lot of different things. I don't think that they should be held to a higher account than the president of the United States. I just don't think that's right. So these things are my why. It is your time now to write down yours. So in your document, in the first box, feel free to type out what your whys are. And when you're finished doing that, drop a plus in the chat so I know you're ready to move on. Awesome. We're going to spend maybe 30 or 45 more seconds here. If you're still writing, keep going. If you're ready, we're going to give you a chance now to share. So we'll have a Slido. This is going to be an experiment. You can use your phone and scan to join the Slido, or you can go to slido.com and put in 2260 297. And that will take you to, let's see if this works. Don't get mad at me if this doesn't work. I'm going to drop a link in the chat and see. Maybe if you click on that, it will take you to a place where you can type. If not, just use your phone, scan it in. We've got 2 folks typing. Nice. Everyone deserves a life of security, dignity, and freedom. It feels like this is a critical moment where democracy might actually die and authoritarianism could arise. I want to be part of a solution and not part of a silent majority. I want people to live safe and happy lives. These are all great. Somebody's very electorally focused. Oh, here they come. There's a lot of them. They're pouring in now. This is incredible. Thank you all so much. So now at the top, we can kind of start to see what we're saying. We have this little word count at the top. A lot of us are mentioning people and community. Uh-oh. There we go. As a Black woman, I want to be the voice for others when they feel they don't or can't have a voice. All right, so we're all here together and we all have similar whys, but we're slightly different. We're coming to this, joining together in solidarity and in community from slightly different angles. And that is perfect. That's what being in coalition is. And we're so glad to be in coalition with you. You can keep going. I think we'll have time to come back to this at the end. So if you're still typing, don't worry. We'll have an opportunity to share them out. And you'll get to talk about this in just a second too. So next, we have been talking a lot about what we're fighting against, but I think it's equally as important, or maybe even more so, to define what we're fighting for. So what is your vision for the future? The next thing, if you don't mind writing down, think in your head, if you could fast forward to a point in the future where all of our work has paid off, everything is exactly the way you want it to be. What would that be like? And really define it for yourself. So what do you see? What do you hear and feel? How are people interacting with each other? What are families like? What are neighborhoods like? What are our towns like in our country and the world? So take a few minutes. You can use just bullet points to jot this down if you want to. And when you are finished, once again, a plus in the chat is appreciated. This one will take a little bit longer, I think. So we'll give it about a minute or 2 here. All right. If you're still writing, keep going. Ooh, alas, we'll have to come back to the Slido. I think we may have disabled it when we moved on. Perhaps I was wrong. All right, keep going with your vision for the future. You'll have a chance to share it with some folks in just a second. If you're still working on this, no worries. We have some folks who are finished up. So I will tell you about the next thing. If you're ready to move on, think about what is your theory of change. And just for clarity, we're going to go ahead and drop these in our docs. You don't need to put it in a Slido. We're just going to put it in our handout. So for theory of change, it's kind of like our roadmap. How are we going to get to your vision for the future? What are everyday people going to need to do to make your vision a reality? And then what do elected leaders need to do? Are there things that corporations need to do? If there's any other group that's missing from this list, feel free to add them in. And in general, what does society need to do? The real question, once you've kind of defined what your theory of change is, the real question is, what role are you going to play in this? Maybe you want to run for office and you want to be an elected leader. Maybe that's part of your theory of change. I don't know. You tell me. What role are you going to have in it? And what are your first steps going to be? What are those steps building towards? When you have finished writing about your theory of change, it doesn't need to be perfect. We are going to go into our first breakout room, just kind of meet each other and share a little bit. So take your time. This is going to be a preview of what we're going to do. When you feel ready to do this, after you've written about your theory of change, we'll put a plus in the chat. But for now, just write your theory of change. So if you don't mind going back one more slide. Theory of change, just to define it again, there we go, is how we get to your vision for the future. So what needs to happen? All right, and just as an administrative note for Team Arena, if we could make the breakout rooms optional, that would be fab. All right, keep going. We're going to open the breakout rooms in 1 minute. It's okay if you have not completely articulated every single thing on your theory of change. I suspect you'll still be able to talk to other people about it. So we're going to open the breakout rooms in 1 minute, and I will give you instructions. In the breakout rooms, we're going to be in there for 15 minutes. And maybe if we could go on to the next slide. The first thing in the breakout rooms is to introduce yourself, meet your new friends. Then, if you don't mind sharing your why and your theory of change and your vision, everything that we kind of just talked about. Listen while you're in these conversations for commonalities and differences, and anything that you want to incorporate into your own theory of change. The main goal here is to connect with other people and draw strength from each other, be in solidarity together, and hopefully leave today knowing people that you didn't know before. Okay, are there any questions about what we're doing in the breakout rooms before we open them up? You can raise your hand or put it in the chat. All right, Myra, are we ready with breakout rooms?
Yes. Make them optional. You're not going to automatically be moved in. You're going to get a pop-up prompting you to go. And then you should be able to switch rooms if for some reason your room is empty, using the breakout room panel to navigate to another room. But if you have any issues, we'll be here in the main room and can help you then.
Thanks. All right, we're going to open those up. So those are open now. Like Myra said, they're optional. You don't have to make new friends if you don't want to. You can take a little break if you need to. Although in a second, literally right when we come back, I'm going to preach at you about why you need to make new friends. And if you're having trouble getting to a breakout room, let us know and we can help you get there. My timer just went off. Okay, so we have time for 2 people. If you would like to kind of give us a little synopsis of what you talked about in your group very quickly, like 30 seconds-ish, we can get 2 in. So it will be a race. If you would like to share, raise your hand, give us a little summary of what y'all talked about. Okay, Zachary. I don't want to be presumptive. Zachary.
I just wanted to quote from our group, Joyce. She said, "People don't know their power." And we were talking about like queer rights and poverty. And yeah, I think that, people who are suffering are the ones who should, be making the decisions about how to avoid suffering. Impacted people. That's kind of the commonality I heard.
Awesome. Thank you. Reed.
Thank you. Yeah. I think what's great is we had different perspectives or directions that we may have wanted to go in. But that's something that really brought to my attention is that ultimately what we all want is for us to work together to improve whatever it is. We know our own communities best. We know our own strengths and weaknesses. And I think that if we can work together, we can really leverage those strengths and build something really special. So as long as we're working on a sense of community and working to one day at a time, build something better, even the smallest little bit really adds up long term. So really it's exciting to see so many people wanting to get involved. It's the one like silver lining of you see a crazy headline every day that makes you all depressed and sad, but the silver lining is that there's so many people motivated who want to do something about it. And I think there's a lot we can do.
Thanks. Yeah. Appreciate both of y'all for sharing. And I was hopping around kind of eavesdropping on all of your conversations, and it's very fun. It's very fun to hear all of the incredible work that we're all doing together in little snippets like that. So I'm very appreciative to everyone for participating in those breakout rooms. And if you would like to give a little shout out to your friends that were in your breakout room in the chat, feel free to do that. And we also have a little question for you about what your first steps are going to be. So I think there we go. Yes. So think about this. What are the first steps that you're going to take right now to achieve your theory of change? And what are those steps building towards? If you want to tell us what you think your first steps are going to be in the chat, I still see shout outs in there. I appreciate it. Either one is fine. Let us know, what are your first steps going to be now? Drop it in the chat. We've got somebody that voted in Virginia. Oh my gosh. Congratulations to Virginia voters. I think folks in the city, the Big Apple, might be voting as well. If someone is doing incorporation for a nonprofit, that's really exciting. We've got someone who's filling in a candidate affidavit. Folks are looking for orgs or campaigns that are in alignment. This is great. Thank you all so much. Keep them coming. We've got folks looking for Democratic campaigns that they can work on, organizing house meetings, trying to get together a group of nonprofit consultants to provide comm support to campaigns, looking for the next campaign, looking for organizations in alignment. Hell yeah, we've got a shout out for Arena and for NDTC training in the chat. All right, keep going, but we have another question for you. I would love to talk about the preconditions for activism, what needs to be true to make us the best activists and organizers that we can be. So please also drop in the chat, what are the preconditions for activism? I'm asking, what needs to be true in order for someone to be able to affect change? What needs to be true for someone to be a good organizer or a strong candidate? There's not a right answer. I'm curious what you think. Let us know. Oh, and we've got Pokemon references going on too, which I really appreciate. Okay, some preconditions: genuinely wanting to make change, basic compassion, believing in something, an open mind, the ability to listen, collective understanding, leadership and followership, firm in convictions and humble and dedicated. You have to actually care about people, knowing your neighborhood, an issue to mobilize around. Anger can be a great motivator, the ability to overcome fear. All right, I agree with all of these. Energy, here's what I think is the most important one. And this is where I get on my soapbox for just a second, and then I'll come off in a second. From my perspective, relationships are the strongest and most critical prerequisite for being able to persuade people and to mobilize people. It is impossible to organize or to be an effective activist without having strong relationships. This is my perspective. And again, I'm preaching a little bit, but this is why I think that. So we often talk about, we need to be organizing year round, and we need to give people something to do during the off cycle. And I think that building relationships is something that we can think about in the context of an organizing timeline as well. Relationship building can be a strategic thing. So we have this timeline here for you. And we typically think about this in terms of campaigns. So that's why it is just 1 year. But the biggest portion of what you do in electoral organizing and in any kind of organizing is called capacity building. So that's what we're doing right now. We're planning, we're gathering resources, we're building and strengthening our relationships so that we have the capacity to mobilize. And the more relationships we have, the stronger our relationships are, the more interconnected we are within our own communities, the better we're going to be able to do the other things that we need to do on any campaign, whether it's electoral or advocacy work, which are persuading, otherwise changing hearts and minds, or mobilization, turnout, which is getting out the vote. So the underlying thing, in my opinion, to all of this is relationship building. And here's how I think about it. So imagine you're the little cyan, the little teal dot, and maybe you know a few of your neighbors pretty well. You know 3 of them. And then kind of by extension, you kind of know the people that they know, or you might have access to mobilize the people that they know. Maybe this is what it looks like right now, and maybe you don't really know, let's say the people on the other side, or maybe people on the other side of the street, or maybe they're not in your building. For me, I live in a little like complex of houses that is a little bit isolated from another side. So this is kind of what I'm working with, or what I was working with. All right, so if this is you, then your goal is going to be on the next slide to strengthen the relationships that you already have so that you're able to kind of be in stronger relationship with those people, and also to add in new relationships with folks. So who can you meet that you can kind of add to your network and connect your web? So just by meeting 2 new people, you can see how this has kind of turned into a network, into a web. And think of yourself as a node in this web. Then, once you kind of have more connections, what we're all working towards with organizing is connecting people together. And this is where we can really start to leverage our collective power. So whether you're someone who is hoping to run for office, who might be connecting groups and organizations together, or you're a community organizer who might be connecting neighbors from one part of the neighborhood to another part of the neighborhood, or you're a political organizer who might be connecting unions with other organizations in your own district, whatever the case may be, our goal is to be in a position where we're building collective power by bringing people together and connecting them with each other. All right, so I believe, as I said, this is a precondition for organizing. There is a little homework, and this is a preview. We have an entire session on organizing where you live. We hope to see you there. This is my challenge to you. Can you think about how many people you could ask for a small favor right now? Ideally, this would be on a hyper-local level, people that live within 5 or 10 minutes of you. Try to think about if you could add 5 people to that list in the next month. In the month of July, can you add 5 people to that list? Maybe these are people that you don't have phone numbers with, who you want to build a relationship with. The other question is, are there 5 people that you already know who you want to strengthen your relationship with? So for me, I know my neighbors that live in my little complex. I'm very close with 6 or 7 of them. I see other people in passing. There are 2 people who I don't even know their name. So my challenge to myself is, okay, I need to figure out these people's names, my new neighbors, and I need to get their phone numbers, and I probably need to plan something with them. You figure out what you're going to do. We're not going to spend a ton of time here. This isn't really the entire focus of this session, but we do have on your worksheet, how will you build and strengthen relationships with these people? Go ahead and just jot it down. How are we doing on time? We have 30 minutes left. We'll come back to the breakout for this if we have time. Jot down your little homework, my challenge to you. A question. If I have strong connections with lots of people online, mostly professionally, though I could absolutely ask them for a favor, is it important to try to focus on local geographic area instead? I think both. And I am in a similar position where my closest friends actually don't live near me because we all worked on campaigns together and now we're spread out across the country. So the people that I'm closest to besides my family are very far away and I consider them to be my closest friends. But if we're trying to mobilize people for a local election, or if there's an ICE raid in our community and we need to get people out on the streets to try to do something about that, or we're trying to get people out to an action, or we need to mobilize for a city council meeting or something like that, it's important to know people where you are. And the other thing is, it's not just about mobilizing people. We need to be able to have kind of this mutual support network too. So try to know people around where you live. You don't have to become best friends with them, but ideally you would want to be close enough with someone where you could borrow a kitchen utensil or talk about a book or something like that. So that way, if you're going to ask them to go out and vote, the first thing you ask them to do is not, can you go out and vote? It's like, hey, can I borrow this book? Oh, I read it. It was so good. Here's a book that I think you might like, etc. And we've got a LinkedIn link in the chat to make the assignment a little easier. Mark dropped a LinkedIn link. Suave, Mark Suave. All right, awesome. When you feel ready to move on. Ooh, okay. Actually, there's another thing in the chat. I think training on having difficult conversations while maintaining the relationship would be so helpful. I agree. And we have that training. That training is coming up. That's the next one. So we have organizing where you live, which is not next week, but the week after. And then we have a training called, what do we call it? Constructive disagreement, which is about exactly what you've described in the chat, building trust with each other and maintaining relationships, centering relationship in disagreement so that we can be in coalition with each other, even if we don't see eye to eye. So we'll share sign up links. And we have a plug for deep canvassing as well. Deep canvassing is great. Happy to connect y'all with Deep Canvassing Institute as well. Okay, when you are ready to talk about organizations and ways to plug in, and you feel you have your assignment, your homework, put a plus in the chat, and I'll know we're ready to move on. Cool beans. All right, so the question is, how do you want to be involved in this movement? And we're not going to do the breakout for this one because we're going to do the next breakout. Okay. How do you want to be involved in this movement? Here are some things that I think you could do. This is probably not going to be breaking news to you, but here's a list. So as you know, as I just preached, I believe that strengthening your network is a requirement. There is something for everyone, but that doesn't mean that there's going to be something that is 100% comfortable for all of us 100% of the time. A lot of the work that we're doing is very important work. It might not be as easy as retweeting something. I think we all know that because we're here. Here are some things, just a list that I made. If you see anything missing from this list, feel free to drop it in the chat. I'll read them out. Organize your neighborhood. I think everyone should do that. Attend a protest or rally. Distribute water or food at a protest. Attend a club meeting. Talk to voters at their door. Art as activism. Call voters. Write letters. Intervene as a bystander. Maybe some bystander intervention training might be good. Constructive disagreement. Attend a local government meeting, become a legal observer. The ACLU can help you do that. Register voters, call legislators, attend advocacy day, join or start a local group, train on accessibility best practices. What is missing? Provide or organize childcare. Court observers. You literally just go sit in immigration hearings and watch them. Local library, nonprofits, mutual aid groups. Understanding the root cause of why we're in this situation and what is the best way to address it. We have a little reading group if you're into it. Radicalize your faith community. What a great way to talk about our first book, Let This Radicalize You. We will have that meeting at the end of July. We've got local food bank. Okay, so there's a ton of options. We could keep the list going. The question is, what do you like to do? What are your skills? How do you want to be involved? Ugh, I made two versions of the slide. Wouldst thou advance to the next? I had an idea. Okay. If you like hosting get-togethers, consider organizing an event in your home or starting a group. If you like cooking for other people, consider providing food for a meeting. If you prefer to be behind the scenes, consider maintaining a spreadsheet or taking notes for a group. You can join a group, you can say, perhaps we should have a contact list and make that for them. If you are super familiar with your local area, consider engaging local businesses for a group. If you want to use your artistic or creative talents, guess what? We've got a partner for that. If you're an attorney, a medical professional, a teacher, if you are in highly niche work, consider doing that pro bono. If you are passionate about any particular communities, you can find communities to engage with, groups that support those communities. And if you have any other skills that are valuable for this movement, think about how you might want to engage those. So we had the example earlier of childcare for parents who want to attend events. We have an example in the chat of establishing a community garden. I love all of this. I think we have some really, really good ideas here. We have time for another breakout group. So before we go in to this breakout group, what we are going to talk about is what you're excited to do, what you're less excited to do, but still willing to try. If there's anything you feel like I'm not actually a good fit for that, that's okay. And if there are any ways you want to plug in that we haven't touched on yet, you can talk about that too. And our goal with this one is to all leave with an idea of what we want to do next, immediately after this. What are we going to sign up for? What type of thing are we going to attend next? So, what questions do you have before we head into this breakout room? What an unclear phrasing. My apologies. When you feel ready to go into this breakout room, I told you to stay on mute and I was like, what questions do you have? When you feel ready to go into this breakout room, put a plus in the chat. If you have a question, raise your hand. How many roads must a man walk down? Great. Okay. These are going to be new groups. We're going to walk out of here with some ideas about what we want to do today, to sign up for today. We're going to open up those breakout rooms. Once again, they will be optional. We can do 10 minutes. All right, and they are open. I'm going to pause the recording. I remembered this time. All right. Welcome back. It's great to see you once again. We are, yep, perfect. We are coming up on the conclusion. If you have shout outs for people in your breakout, please feel free to drop a shout out in the chat. And if you heard someone say something that inspired you or made you think, huh, what a great idea, feel free to raise your hand. We can hear from 2 people. If you heard something inspiring in your breakout room, or something that made you think that was a good idea, raise your hand to share. Go ahead, Avi.
So honestly, something that's been a theme has been like getting excited to organize people in rural areas and getting people out like that. But then also the difficulty of balancing like loving the work and needing to get a job
Mm-hmm.
and the survivability of that. So kind of having that solidarity in that space was beautiful.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And I have a little resource for you in just a second. So I have some things to tell you about. We had a nice conversation with Malcolm and Sana. Awesome. We have some organizations that we want to alert you to. If you're wondering who can I connect with, I think we saw a lot of people talking about wanting to find organizations. If you are thinking, maybe I should organize my workplace, maybe you already have a job, you can connect with a union for more information and guidance. We do not have any unions as partners of Power Rising Summer. These are all great options, and there are so many more incredible unions. Just want to point you towards one resource from the AFL. The AFL-CIO has a form a union page that you can check out if you are interested, and you can find some resources there for doing that. So there's that on that. If you want to run for office, there are a ton of resources for you. One thing, since we just talked about rural organizing, I want to call your attention to an organization called Dirt Road Organizing. Dirt Road Organizing is an organization that specializes in rural communities. It is for rural organizers and candidates. They have a cohort that you can join. And I just put the link in the chat. I'll put it again. If you want to join a Dirt Road cohort, you can click on that link that I just shared. And we have additional resources in the chat. We've got Contest Every Race, all kinds of additional organizations, Working Families Party, WFP, who do candidate support. We'll share links at the end too. Then, if you are looking to support a congressional race, Swing Left is certainly not the only resource for supporting congressional races. Swing Left is a Power Rising Summer partner. You can find them at swingleft.org/events, and they are all about connecting activists and volunteers and empowering them to organize in competitive congressional districts. If you would like to tap into your creativity, we are partners with the Center for Artistic Activism, which is an incredible organization that is focused on empowering people to use creativity and art for good. They have an Action Energizer Lab coming up on the 25th that we are partnering with them on. So you can check that out if you're interested in joining the Action Energizer Lab. It's a free event, it's a workshop, and they'll take you through all kinds of different ways to organize creatively. So highly recommend checking them out. Then, if you are interested in engaging more deeply with the disability community, we are partnered with New Disabled South and have strong relationship with Disability Victory as well. New Disabled South is doing a speaker series, a lecture series, and they have one tonight if you're interested. I dropped the link in the chat. This one is all about care webs. It will be recorded. You can sign up, get the recording if you can't make it. Can't speak highly enough about New Disabled South, Disability Victory. If you're looking for a job in politics, you may have heard of a little organization called Arena. We also have a partner, Progressive Pipeline, and we're partnered with Sync Collective as well. You can check out Arena Careers, arena.run/careers, and Progressive Pipeline has a fellowship. If you would like to apply for a Progressive Pipeline fellowship, that link is in the chat. If you're looking for activism opportunities, we are partnered with Vote Save America. Vote Save America, which I don't know how this happened, but I didn't get the link for Vote Save America. Don't worry, it's in your handout. If you scroll down to the bottom, you already have it. And there's more info in the chat there. We've talked about a lot of orgs. There are even more organizations that we are partnered with. If you need the handout, here's the link again. It has a whole list of a whole bunch of different organizations. Yeah, it's on the worksheet. Just scroll down past the worksheet and you'll see a whole list of all the organizations that are partnered with us for Power Rising Summer. We would be happy to connect you with any of these organizations that you want to be connected with. So we're going to open up a Zoom poll right now, and you can let us know who you'd like to be in touch with. We will only share your information with organizations that you indicate wanting to get involved with. So feel free to let us know and we will hook you up. Heck yeah, Center for Artistic Activism, DEM Power Labs, Dirt Road Organizing, awesome. Yeah, keep it coming. We're happy to get you all connected in. And we'll leave that poll open. And while you're doing that, I want to tell you about some of our next steps. So keep voting. If you're in line, stay in line. We're up to 41% participation. Would love to get that higher. As you know, we are a democracy here at Arena. Ooh, are any of these orgs directly involved in organizing youth? Yes, Voters of Tomorrow. Voters of Tomorrow is a youth organizing organization. Awesome. Yes, and we'll be happy to connect y'all with Voters of Tomorrow. In the meantime, as you keep voting, thank you so much for getting your votes cast. We have a feedback survey for you. We're going to send a follow-up email. It will include a recording. We may also include some additional links, any additional information. If there's more stuff you want in your follow-up email, let us know in the feedback survey right now. And we appreciate that. We do really appreciate your feedback. We read all of it. We use it to improve our trainings and to make sure our offerings are what you need to do, what you need to do. Stay in touch. Please keep in contact with each other. You can join the Arena community Slack. Arena.run/Slack is how to get into that. And finally, if you're interested in joining us for our book club, feel free. Our first one is Let This Radicalize You. We are reading this book over the summer. Our next one is Tyranny of the Minority. And we have some events coming up. We have our panel next week, Innovations to Take Back Congress. Aw, thanks, Molly. Innovations to Take Back Congress is in the chat. We have Career Coaching Week, which is the week of June 30th. Stay tuned for more info. And we have this workshop, Organizing Where You Live. I'll also throw in constructive disagreement because there seemed to be a little request for that in the chat. And last but not least, I'll get you the book club link because I don't know, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I used to teach English, so you know, any excuse for me. Here is our book club. Let this radicalize you. And there's a question in the chat, will there be a recording of the one from next week? I have a schedule conflict, but I would like to watch the recording. Yes, there will be a recording of the one for next week too. If you sign up on Mobilize, you will get the recording sent to you after. Awesome. Wow, we have 3 minutes left. That's our show. I'm going to stop the recording and then you can say whatever you want because you'll be off the record.